I, Anvita Reddy, on behalf of Extramural Lectures Team of IIT Madras, welcome you to the inaugural lecture of the semester. We have with us today Honorable IT Minister of Telangana, Mr. KT Ramarao, who will speak on the topic Innovate, Incubate, Incorporate, Augmenting the Startup Ecosystem of India. Shri Kalvakuntla Tarak Ramarao completed his schooling from St. George Grammar School, Hyderabad, holds a bachelor degree in microbiology from Nizam College, Hyderabad, an MSc in biotechnology from University of Pune, and an MBA in marketing and e-commerce from Baruch College City, University of New York. After completing his MBA, he worked as an IT professional for 6 years before commencing his political career. Presently, he is the Cabinet Minister of Telangana for IT, Electronics and Communications, MAUD, Industry and Commerce, Mines and Geology, Public Enterprises, NR Affairs, and he is also the MLA from Sirsila constituency. He is noted for his various initiatives like the path-breaking tech incubator T-Hub, Task, Hi-Fi. He has been awarded Most Inspirational Icon of the Year 2015 by CNN, IBN and Riz Magazine for his significant contributions to the development of IT in Telangana in a short period of time. We now request the Honorable Director of IIT Madras, Dr. Bhaskar Ramamurthy, to welcome the guests with a fruit basket. Thank you, sir. I now invite Mr. Kalvakuntla Ramarao to deliver his much anticipated talk on Innovate, Incubate, Incorporate, Augmenting the Startup Ecosystem of India.
Thank you. Good evening. Sorry for being late. I was supposed to be here by 6:15, I think it was, or 6, is it? 6, my bad. So 45 minutes late. I'm blaming it on air traffic control in Chennai. Thank you, Director Bhaskar Ramamurthy ji, for hosting us. And thank you all the students for inviting me to be a part of this prestigious, very, very prestigious and reputed institution. And I'm really delighted to be here. I know your mess closes by 9:15, so we'll try and keep it as simple as we can. So good evening. My name is Ram. I'm the Minister for Information Technology and Industry and Commerce from the youngest state in India today, the state of Telangana. And I keep calling it the startup state. I'm guessing many of you are from Hyderabad. How many? Okay, pretty much all of you. Anybody who's not from Hyderabad? Okay, there are a few. Oh wow, there are a lot of them. All right, good seeing you all. So I call my state a startup state. There is a reason why I call it a startup state. See, when you get an opportunity to make a clean slate beginning, when you get an opportunity to start off without the burden of legacy, without the burden of somebody weighing heavily on your shoulders, on your head, I think you can make a lot of innovative beginnings. And that's exactly what we've tried to do in the state of Telangana. When we started off about 2.5 years ago, on the 2nd of June 2014, our Honorable Chief Minister Shri K. Chandrasekhar Rao Garu, who's led the Telangana agitation from the front, he's a firm believer in one theory. He believes that no individual or no institution is a repository of wisdom. He believes very firmly that nobody knows everything. For a leader, for a minister, for a chief minister, or for any individual to think that I know everything, I'm an expert at everything, would be a fallacy. So therefore, when he started off with his young state of Telangana, and especially with respect to technology, especially with respect to innovative policy making, he has given us a clear mandate. He said, do not reinvent the wheel. He said, learn from the best. Imbibe the best practices from across the world. You don't have to start from the scratch on everything. You don't have to worry about being, very, very innovative in terms of being novel and path-breaking. He said, if there are good policies out there, if there are good ideas out there, pick them up, make them your own, and make sure you actually follow through and do a good job of it. So that's how when we started thinking about coming out with our IT policy, coming out with our industrial policy, we started on the right earnest. We started visiting places. We started talking to thought leaders. We started talking to different political leaders who were very experienced. We started talking to industry leaders. And then that's how we started formulating our policies. But even before I come to that, I'd like to share with you one thing. In fact, as was mentioned earlier, we've come out with India's largest technology incubator today in Hyderabad. It's called the T-Hub. Before I go any further, I'd like to play a very small video for you, which kind of sets the tone as to what we are talking about with respect to innovation and technology ecosystem. If somebody can get the lights here. Can you get the lights? Yeah? I'll click this. This one, right? Okay, want to play that? With audio? Yeah.
So the dream was always to make Hyderabad one of the top 10 startup destinations in the world.
So we started off with Catalyst, which is our incubator, but we've gone further than that, and now we are calling ourselves the fastest growing startup engine.
This is, in fact, the first look at a new India of tomorrow. And this can be the starting point of that new wave. So it's a great privilege to be here today.
I am here to be mostly inspired by your dreams, your ambitions, and what I think you're going to do going forward in terms of changing the world because of what you do here at T-Hub and beyond. Thank you so very, very much.
The next journey for us is to enable startups to significantly scale up and go to market. Whatever it takes for us to foster that is what we're going to focus on.
The last 1 year at T-Hub has been incredible. We have startups being born every day. We have corporates moving in and wanting to solve innovation challenges. We've got events happening all over the place in various fields. And we've got funding happening also. So it's been incredible.
T-Hub basically provides you a platform to dabble, to cherish in innovation. It provides you a platform to walk in with an idea and walk out with a product. Intent is very, very straightforward: to make Hyderabad the startup capital of the country.
We have formed a program called T-Bridge that acts as a tunnel both in and out of India. The idea is that Indian startups from anywhere across the country that want to access global markets can come through different T-Hub programs through T-Bridge and get access to the US, the UK and multiple other countries.
We want to be very thankful to the benevolent board of directors and advisory committee members who made this dream possible. And these are visionaries from the venture capital space, from the government and from the corporate space. And without them, this journey wouldn't have even started, let alone take off. The corporate partners who come to us to scout out innovation, to scout out deal flow, and to help us create this amazing scale is a unique set of stakeholders that we want to profusely thank from the bottom of our heart.
So we're really excited that we're about to launch a new building in Hyderabad, the Reactor Building. It's a 350,000 square foot iconic building that will not only house startups, but incubators, accelerators, service providers, corporate innovation divisions, everything that it takes to build a startup ecosystem.
T-Hub is the fastest growing startup engine that's catalyzing scale, innovation and deal flow.
We're well on our way to becoming one of the top startup destinations in the world.
let's close this. Right, so going back to what I was saying. So the theme of today's evening was innovate, incubate, and incorporate, the 3I mantra, as I call it. I'm sure there are students from mechanical engineering, automobile engineering. Are you there? Nobody? Okay. The 3D mantra, as they call it, which applies to you guys. Define, design, deliver. It holds true even today. I think it works even today in your world. But in the shifting, in the fast-changing economic landscape that the world has become today, the digitally connected space it has become today, I think it's important that you actually innovate very, very quick. Also, incubate even more quickly, and incorporate at the same pace. Because if you think about it for a second, today the next big idea can come from anywhere in the world. Your physical location, the physicality of your location does not matter. Because you could be in Siberia, you could be in Chennai, you could be in Hyderabad, you could be in Timbuktu, you could be anywhere in the world. As long as you have an idea that works, as long as you have an idea that has merit in it, I think you can have the world at your feet. Now, having said that, it's easier said than done, I know. So therefore, we wanted to give this a bit of a thought. So when we started thinking about what to do, in fact, when I assumed office as a minister on the 2nd of June 2014, I asked my IT secretary, Jayesh Ranjan, who's somewhere here, I questioned. I said, Hyderabad has done reasonably well after Y2K in 1998, the late 90s, and then eventually when India started getting some business in the IT space, more so mostly the back office, support kind of space, the support kind of work. We said we've done okay, we've created some jobs, we've done reasonably well, but what is the next big opportunity? And we started then talking to a lot of students, a lot of youngsters. And then what I've realized is, today's youngsters of India, like you guys, are not content. You guys are not happy in just being the back office of the world. You guys don't want India to be the tech support center, or if I have to put it bluntly, a BPO for the world. You want more. You aspire for more. In fact, you feel that if a Zuckerberg can do it, if a Larry or a Sergey can do it, why can't I do it? In the technology space, where technology is the greatest leveler, where technology is the greatest enabler, where technology enables anybody who has an idea to actually ride a wave of growth, ride a wave of an opportunity, and deliver the goods and deliver solutions for the world, you guys believe that Indians have it in them. And I actually absolutely confidently can say that Indians possibly today have the best shot at solving the world problems than ever before. And the reason why I say this is because as a country today, if you look at India, the world is getting older, but India is getting younger. Today, India, more than 50% of the population is at a median age of 29, unlike ever in the history of this world. More than 65% of the population today in India is less than the age of 35. That makes us the country with the largest workforce on the planet. America is aging. China is aging. Most of our competition across the world, most of our competition which we compete with for investments, for ideas, etc., is aging fast. Now that is where India's great opportunity lies. So therefore, when we started thinking, I'll just give you an example. How many of you use WhatsApp here? I think everybody. How many of you don't use WhatsApp here? What is wrong with you? Okay. So we all use WhatsApp, right? Now when WhatsApp was being evaluated, when Facebook decided to purchase or buy out WhatsApp, they evaluated it at $19 billion. $19 billion. I almost fell off my chair. I think most guys my age fell off their chairs also. It confused a whole lot of us, it just didn't make any sense to us. But I think it enthused a whole bunch of youngsters across the world. Now they believe that ideas as simple as WhatsApp, if you think about it, WhatsApp, Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, none of these are rocket sciences. None of these are things that we could not have discovered ourselves. None of these are extremely complicated protocols or products. They're extremely simple products, simple, ingenious ideas, which have today transformed the way we communicate with each other. Now, therein lies the beauty. $19 billion, yes, it confused me, but enthused a whole generation of youngsters. Now, the bigger question I ask myself is, would an Indian youngster, would he have thought of this? Maybe, potentially yes. But maybe he just didn't know what to do with such an idea. That's when we said, now let's give them a chance, let's give them a platform. And that's how what you just saw, T-Hub, came about. T-Hub today is India's largest incubator. And like I said, the theme of T-Hub is innovate, incubate, and incorporate, all in the same facility. You guys, if you have an idea, you don't have to worry about how to set up a company, how to incorporate a company, how to actually ensure, you write a business plan to the banks, to the VCs, to the private equity players, to the financial institutions. You don't have to worry about anything. As long as you have an idea which has merit in it, which can be transformed into a service or a product, you can walk into T-Hub confidently, work with us. You have Indian School of Business doing the business mentorship. You have IIT Hyderabad and IIIT Hyderabad doing the technology mentorship. And you have Nalsar, because IP is very important when you have an idea, intellectual property. So therefore you have Nalsar, which is one of the best law schools in the country, doing IP mentorship. We took care of all that. Now all you have to do is walk in, start working on your idea, build a team around it, start looking for resources, start making pitches, and ensure that your idea grows from what it is into just an idea, from the ideation stage into a product stage. Now, this raises a very important question. Once you have a product, say for example, you come out with the next WhatsApp. You come out with the next WhatsApp from Hyderabad, from T-Hub. Now, would it get the same kind of valuation? Would it get the same kind of attention, say if you were located in Santa Clara, or if you were located somewhere in Silicon Valley in California? Would you get the same valuation? Would you get the same attention? I seriously think no. Because I think it matters. Even though we say it's a connected world, it's an interconnected world, it's a very, very flat world technology-wise, I think the fact of the matter is, it also matters as to where you're located. So therefore, we've created an extension of T-Hub, what is called as the T-Bridge, which also we talked about just now. T-Bridge essentially is a two-way conduit. For any Indian youngster who's created a startup, who has an idea, if he wants to take his idea to the US or to the world, we can, through T-Bridge, take you right there and expose you to the best venture capitalists in the world so that you get the biggest bang for your idea. Likewise, if an American startup wants to actually tap into the 1.3 billion Indian market, a huge Indian retail market, they also have an opportunity to use this two-way conduit and enter India as well. So that's the idea of T-Bridge. Now, having said this, T-Hub, it's all good. What are we doing there? We already have more than 200 startups working out of T-Hub. We already have had more than $15 million of deal flow in the last 1 year alone. We are already building on some of these success stories, and some of the startups which started off in T-Hub are now in a scale-up mode. They've already started scaling up. They're looking to expand more. What does this do for us? How does this help the country? Simple. The idea of a government entering this space, which typically is considered taboo for a government to enter, because startups is something governments have typically never encouraged in the past. The idea of a government doing this essentially was to create large-scale employment. Say, for example, if we know the success rate in startups is not very high, we decided once we start augmenting on this success story, say, for example, you have 95% of the startups failing, and assume that only 5% succeed. And even if 5% of these, if they succeed, and out of which, again, even if 50% of them out of the successful ones actually go on and incorporate and become large corporations, they would be creating a large-scale employment for our country. Not only that, in fact, as Bill Clinton said when he visited, President Clinton when he visited India, I think in the early 2000s, he had said, India today has all the problems in the world, but India today also has all the solutions for the world as well. So that is what India today is. India is a fantastic, huge business opportunity for those of you who are looking at India with a lens of a business possibility. But India, at the same time, again, like I said, offers today the bubbling enthusiasm of youngsters, unlike ever before in the history. And therefore, this is a story which I believe is only just begun. Now, in the startup space, there are several challenges. Most importantly, it's the deal flow, the financial support. How do you build on the ecosystem? How do you ensure venture capital flows in? How do you ensure you provide them access to these guys who actually have to open up their pockets and purse strings and write checks to ensure that these wonderful ideas actually come to fruition. What we've done there also is, in fact, we've created what is called as a T fund. A T, again, for those of you who are confusing T with Telangana, I call it T for technology and T for Telangana. In fact, T-Hub is not just for people in Hyderabad. T-Hub is not just for youngsters in Hyderabad. T-Hub is for anybody who has an idea. T-Hub is for any youngster in Chennai who has an idea, who thinks he can take it to the next level. You can walk in and you can work with us. There's also a virtual mentoring opportunity as well, virtual incubating opportunity as well. Now, we created what is called as T-Fund. We're ramping it up. The initial idea was to build it with about 100 crores of Indian rupees. And we as a government also have put in 10%, 10 crores to begin with. We'll slowly start ramping it up. We have private players participating in it. And this is basically to give them seed money, especially in that valley of death that they grow through. Ensure that most of them, who just could have survived and gone on to become fantastic stories, had they received enough support at the right time. That is exactly what we have done. We've factored in that aspect as well and ensured that the financial security, financial availability, not security, but availability is also there as part of this larger plan. Now, T-Hub right now is a 70,000 square foot space in the IIT Hyderabad campus in Gachibowli. We're actually building it up. We're building phase 2, as you may also have noticed, which will be in about 350,000 square feet. And once it is completed by end of 2018, it will be the largest incubator in the world, not just in India. So that's the ambition of Government of Telangana. We are not happy in the fact that India is still known as just a tech support center or a back office for the world. We want more products to come out of India. We want more services to come out of India. We want to ensure that the new wonderful next waves of growth, the new and upcoming waves of growth. A lot of people talk about automation in IT. A lot of people say, with automation coming in, we'd lose our jobs. India would lose its sheen. Unfortunately, they also keep forgetting with complexities in this space, more opportunities are also created. With the demonetization, now India is going towards digitization. With digitization, there are plenty of issues, plenty of avenues, plenty of opportunities. You have security, data security, cyber security, which is a huge challenge. You need more cyber warriors. Data analytics, with huge amounts of data, flowing around, with huge amounts of data flying around. You need analytics to make better business decisions. Data analytics is a huge opportunity. Design engineering, huge opportunity. Data warehousing, huge opportunity. If you are able to ride these next waves of growth, if you're able to ensure that your governments, your institutions, your organizations are aware of all the changes that are sweeping the world and are aware of the next waves of growth, which can create not only employment, but also can create solutions and products for the world, I think we'll be doing a great job as a country. So now, as a new state, the state of Telangana has embarked on a very, very ambitious journey. We have not only unveiled our innovation policy and also have created T-Hub, we have also unveiled several sectoral policies. We have an Internet of Things policy. We have an e-waste policy. We have a data center policy. We have a rural technology policy. We have an electronics manufacturing policy in line with Government of India's Make in India campaign. So not only have we unveiled an innovation policy and support startups in the technology space, we also have started thinking about startups in the hardware space. We started thinking of creating, I'm sure most of you I'm sure IIT Madras has a lot of beautiful labs here. A lot of prototypes are being created by young geniuses. Now we also want to create something in the hardware space, something very similar to what T-Hub is. We are currently in the process of creating what is called as T-Works, which will be an incubator, which will be essentially creating a lot of prototype labs, which will be an incubator for the hardware technology sector. Likewise, in fact, we started focusing on several verticals. Information technology, as you know, has several different avenues. In fact, when T-Hub was opened on 5th of November 2015, we ran out of space in 1 week. Then we started thinking, how do we ensure that these youngsters who come to us are not disillusioned, are not dissuaded, are not discouraged? So we said, let's start building on sector-wise incubators. That's how we came out with what is called as IMAGE, Innovation in Animation, Gaming, Multimedia, and Entertainment. We already have another IMAGE center in Hyderabad, which is again about 30,000 square feet, which is doing well again, which is also full. Now, we started working on several other vectors. Today, I'm happy to share with you, not me, but Department of Science and Technology and the member secretary of DST has come to Hyderabad and has announced that we are the city today with the maximum number of incubators. We have more than 15 incubators in various individual institutions across the city in Hyderabad. Our policy of innovation, our innovation policy, supports private incubators as well. We know for a fact that government cannot do it all. We know for a fact one T-Hub will not solve the problems of the world, or one T-Hub alone cannot make Hyderabad the innovation capital of India. Now, therefore, we've started encouraging private incubators. We've started encouraging more incubation with, especially in the academic institutions. Today, IIT Hyderabad has an incubator which is focused exclusively on healthcare opportunities. Likewise, there are several academic institutions in Hyderabad which have their own incubators, but again, come under the hub and spoke model. They also work closely with T-Hub in terms of mentoring, in terms of support, in terms of scaling up, etc., etc. So the fact of the matter is, I am a firm believer, our Chief Minister is a firm believer, that government should not poke its nose where it does not belong. So therefore, what we've done is, while we have created T-Hub, we have given it utmost independence. We don't indulge in the day-to-day affairs of T-Hub. We stay away. Except for our IT secretary, who is a director as a part of the board of directors, none of us ever go and disturb what T-Hub does. Because a creative field, a creative vent which has been created should not be disturbed by something as inane as government, if you ask me. So therefore, what we've done is we've stayed away. Because our Chief Minister keeps reminding us, governance is something that should be felt, should not be seen or heard. Our job is to create infrastructure. Our job is to create a platform. Our job is to create an avenue for youngsters to dabble, to innovate, to work. Because I am a firm believer that today's Indian youngsters are not happy, are not content in their country being known as the back office of the world. We want more. We surely are there, I think, all of us together at this point of time, unlike ever in the history, like I said, are at the cusp of an opportunity to break into the big league, to leapfrog, digitally speaking, from where we are into the first world, as they call it. And I'm very, very confident that this generation is the generation that will define India in days to come. Once again, thank you very much for this opportunity. And once again, I apologize for being late. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for that insightful talk. We have some questions for you. We have sent out a form to the audience and got some questions. We had to cut down on a lot of questions due to the time constraint. I now invite EML team member Sriram to carry forward the question and answer session.
Good evening, sir. Like the Google's initiative, Google Codin, to encourage high school students to contribute to open source software, what is the Telangana government planning to encourage the startup culture in high school students?
Well, in fact, one of the biggest moments I cherish as a minister, information technology, after I assumed office, is I received an email from a 12th grader saying, sir, I have an idea for a startup. I'd like to come and pitch it to you. Just out of curiosity, nothing else. In fact, I would have been very dismissive, but I said, I want to meet this kid. So he comes in. I write back to him saying, please come and see me. In his school uniform, along with a friend of his, both of them in their school uniforms, they start talking about the next big social media platform. He went on for about 5 to 7 minutes. It was a decent pitch. But what was so palpable, what was so infectious, was this young kid's enthusiasm. He was kicked, he was upbeat about it. So, long answer short, I think there is a lot of interest, especially from an elementary, from a very primary education kind of level, today to actually dabble in innovation. Now, toward that, our government has started building on what is called as giving course credits to anybody who actually goes through an entrepreneurship program. For example, if you're a high school student or a junior college student, and if you want to dabble in innovation, we're actually now going to come out with a system where you are actually credited, where you're given course credits for actually dabbling in innovation. That is something we do already. And the second thing we are also trying to do is ensure, in tandem, in combination with institutions like ISB, we are building on what is called as TEP, Technology Entrepreneurship Program. So most of the engineering graduates, most of the engineering undergraduate students who are interested in wanting to do or interested in building an enterprise are also supported by way of business plans, etc., etc. So a combination of course credits, and we also, by the way, have one more thing which we do, which is again very unique. We have a program called as Entrepreneur in Residence, meaning in India, as you know, if you try your hand at entrepreneurship and if you fail, in fact, one of the things I wanted to say is you should start celebrating failure also. I think in India, we don't celebrate failure as much. We think, failing means end of the world. I don't think so, because if you look around the world, most of the successful entrepreneurs have failed more than once. So we should start getting into that habit of also trying to learn from our failure. Now, the point I was trying to make is, if you fail in your entrepreneurial idea, and if you have to go back to the job market, T-Hub today gives you what is called as Entrepreneur in Residence, a certificate from ISB, which kind of puts a stamp on your credentials, saying this guy actually tried, but nonetheless, he could not succeed as he wanted to, but at the same time, he's good enough to go back and start working in a professional fashion. So these are all a combination of things we do today.
Billion-dollar babies or T-Bridge scale up local startups to a global level and vice versa. What other fields can benefit with some global exposure, and how can it be made possible?
Well, T-Bridge, the idea, like I said, is, if you have a unique and a world-class idea, if you really want to scale up and if you really want to take it to the world, I think you need a platform. The best of ideas also sometimes are withered away because, you don't really have a platform. So therefore, what we've thought is, in fact, if you're exposed to the venture capital community and Sand Hill Road, most definitely you may get an opportunity to actually get a significant investment into your organization, to scale up your organization and actually build a product with a great deal of confidence. In India today, the problem is there isn't enough deal flow happening. There isn't enough investment flowing in either. So that was the whole idea of T-Hub, T-Bridge. But let me also point out to one thing. In fact, when Government of India started this whole idea of smart cities, a lot of people, a lot of American enterprises, a lot of Indian youngsters, they come to us, they make a pitch saying, sir, I have a brilliant idea for a smart city. And about, I think, 6 months ago, there was this American corporation, a large corporation, which walked in. They said, sir, we have the best smart city solution. I said, why don't you show it to me? So this guy was giving a fancy presentation, and then he goes, sir, if somebody cuts the lane abruptly from one lane to another, I can send you an alert, send an alert to your traffic command and control center. I said, great, but why don't you send me an alert when somebody is heading at me in a one-way street? He said, why? Why would you need that? I said, welcome to India. That's the world we live in. Point I'm trying to make is, it's not good enough to have an idea which has a global appeal. What is equally important is your idea should be relevant to the context that it is supposed to address. If you are building a solution for India, don't blindly imitate something that has been done in Los Angeles or Barcelona, bring it to me and try and sell it to me. It doesn't work. What works in Barcelona does not work in Chennai. What works in Hong Kong does not work in Hyderabad. We have to Indianize. We have to come out with our own solutions. We have to come out with our own formulas and recipes. So therefore, it's great to talk about billion-dollar babies, unicorns and all that, but I think India as a market, its potential has not even been, there hasn't been a scratch on the surface yet. We have a huge potential. Before we start thinking about conquering the world, let's try and conquer India. Because if you conquer as something as complex, I'm sure most of you got this at home when you come here. Most of us are taught right when we try and get a stamp and try and travel abroad. We are told, boss, if you can drive in India, you can drive anywhere in the world. So if you succeed in India with your startup idea, I promise you, you can succeed anywhere in the world.
Sir, you've been a great advocate of the handloom industry. What innovation would you think would benefit the handloom industry, and how would you plan on developing an online trading platform for the benefit of the farmers?
Well, handlooms is not just a craft, it's an art. In fact, if you ask me, it's an art which is dying, which is on the verge of extinction. Therefore, it's our bounden duty to support it as much as we can to ensure that it actually is revived. In fact, every Monday for us is a handloom day. In fact, this morning as well, I was in my handloom shirt, but since I was coming to IIT Madras, I said, I should look younger. I wanted to kind of look young, and so therefore I wore a t-shirt. But having said that, what can you do to save handloom industry? I think what you can do is basically while they have the talent, they're not in sync with the demands of the market. Today they are unable to compete with the big labels across the world. Disruption, as we call it, innovation, as we call it in the tech space, has also should also come into this space. It's a very indigenous, it's a very, very innate, very, very native kind of a space. If you bring in innovation, if you bring in disruption, if you bring in design elements, if you bring in a bit of a product re-engineering into it, I think that therein lies the success. Because unless you're in tune with the market demands, no matter how good a product you have or how good a product you think you have, you'll not succeed.
Very often we hear of these huge investments by tech giants in Hyderabad and in the IT industry. What is the selling point of Hyderabad that attracts these huge investments? What?
Well, in fact, today I'm happy to share with you, out of the top 5 most valued tech companies in the world, we have 4 of them whose largest office outside of their headquarters is based in Hyderabad. So that would include Apple, which has their largest investment, largest headcount outside of Cupertino, California. Google, which has again outside of Mountain View, largest base again in Hyderabad. And Microsoft, which came in about 18 years ago, which also has its largest R&D center outside of Redmond, Washington. And also Facebook, again outside of California, largest base in Hyderabad. Now, if you also take a look at the top 10, we also have Amazon, and we also have someone who is a very, very brand new entrant like Uber, who also again has their largest office outside of headquarters in Hyderabad also. Now, that was the easy part. Now, the difficult part is how do they all choose Hyderabad? Now, I would say one thing obviously is, like I said, I think when they are looking at India, today the competition, when Apple was actually choosing a location, they weren't considering Chennai, Hyderabad and Bangalore alone. They actually had a checklist, and they were going across 26 different cities across the world. And then out of their checklist, all the parameters they had, all the criterion they had, I think Hyderabad fit in the best. And if you were to look at different cities across India as well, because Prime Minister Modi, when he travels, he says make in India. He doesn't say make in Telangana, he doesn't say make in Tamil Nadu, he says make in India. So when an investor starts looking towards India, we as a state, under the leadership of our Honorable Chief Minister, have been very, very progressive, have been very, very dynamic. We've reached out to the world. We said, if you're considering India, give us a chance, consider us. If you don't like us, go elsewhere, but do consider us. So we've been able to ensure that when they are considering India as an option, we've been able to put Hyderabad right up there in terms of all the advantages it has to offer: human resources, locational advantages, infrastructure, the bigger bang for the buck, etc., etc. There's a bunch of things I can go on and on about. But what makes Hyderabad very, very unique is it has got the global appeal. It retains the old world charm, and it doesn't have the humidity of Chennai, by the way. So it makes it very, very attractive.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. In the wake of climate change, what is your vision for renewable energy and smart cities?
Well, renewable energy is a fascinating subject. In fact, our Chief Minister is a very, very big environmentalist. As a man who comes from the grassroots, he started building on this amazing story. He, as a legislator in his constituency called Siddipet, about 20 years ago, launched a program called Haritaharam there. And in his entire constituency, he started planting more than a few thousand saplings. Now, as the Chief Minister of the state today, he is embarked on a larger mission. He's today, in fact, conceived what is possibly the third largest effort in human history. We are going to plant 230 crore saplings over a period of 5 years. We're already done with about 40 crores, but we are going to plant another 190 crore of saplings, and this will take our green cover from 24%, which is what it is at today, to about 33%. That is our contribution to the environment. Now, coming to renewable energy, we as a state, in fact, have surpassed the national mandate. National solar policy mandates that we meet more than 10% of our energy requirements from solar or wind or a hybrid of these two at this point in time. Now, as a state today, we meet more than 15% of our energy requirement from solar. In fact, as a state, we've already commissioned more than 1,000 megawatts of solar power. We already have completed and closed 3,000 megawatts of solar bids, and we've discovered the second lowest price in the country as well. At the same time, we're also, in fact, just this morning I had a very interesting meeting with somebody who's an expert in fossil fuel technologies as well. So renewables is a subject that's extremely close to our heart. We're also thinking of how to ensure the PLF improves. In fact, a lot of people tell us, well, solar's PLF is only 20%. A lot of people tell us that this might go up to 40% if it's a hybrid, a wind-solar hybrid. So we are dabbling in multiple ideas and multiple solutions that we are being proposed, but we are more committed than Government of India when it comes to renewable energy is what I can say.
Thank you, sir. That ends the question and answers. I'll hand it over to Anvita once again.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sriram. Thank you, sir, for that very interesting talk. I'm sure I speak for the audience when I say we gathered a lot of inspiration from your talk. We express our gratitude to Honorable Minister Mr. KT Ramarao for giving us this opportunity to have him with us today. Sir, it was indeed a great pleasure hosting you here. I now request the Honorable Director of IIT Madras, Dr. Bhaskar Ramamurthy, to felicitate the speaker with a memento. Thank you, sir. We would also like to present Mr. KT Ramarao with a sketch drawn by EML coordinator yesterday. I request the audience to stay. I now request our speaker for today, Mr. KT Ramarao, to fill in the EML yearbook. EML team wishes everyone a very happy new year. We renew our resolution to bring eminent speakers from various walks of life to speak to the ITM community. We'd be delighted to get speaker suggestions on Twitter and Facebook. Thank you very much, sir. I request everyone to stay till the speaker leaves.